Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm your host, Rob Younts, and thank you for tuning in to the Canencast Show. If today's your first episode, we've got a good one for you. If you've been with us before, we really appreciate you coming back. But either way, today's guests are two awesome coaches with our Cane South program, Coach Cory Welch and Coach Jason Cochcroft. Coach Welch is the director of the South program as well as assistant coach on our National 22 team. Coach Cochcroft is the assistant on the South 2021 team. Both are studs and give great information on our players from North Carolina and South Carolina. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Here they are. Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Younts here with another awesome edition of Canencast Show. I have two great guests today. Usually I only have one, but I got two dudes here, and they are total dudes. They are from our South program. We have Cory Welch, which he's on my screen. He's down at the bottom, and that's all that matters because he's the director of our South program. He's also one of the assistant coaches on our national 22 team. I think it is, Cory.
Yep, 2022. Awesome. Yes, sir.
2022, and then over to my opposite side, up on with me is Jason Cochcroft. He is the coach of our 21 Cane South team. So how are you guys doing today? How you doing, Jason? How's things going out there?
Doing good. Getting hot. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Yeah, it's starting to get warm, buddy. Starting to get that itch for baseball. I know we're all missing it from the spring. We didn't get our 20 to 25, 30 games in, trying to win a state championship and stuff like that. So, since you're the new guy, we'll throw you on the fire first. Jason, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your baseball background, and then we'll dive into Cory. I know Cory a little bit better, so let's go ahead and get with you. Tell us a little bit about who you are as a coach and where you are and what you've been doing all these years.
So I coach high school baseball here in the Columbia area, South Carolina. I coach at Gilbert High School under Ashley Burnett. I've been there. This was year 8 for me. I've been the varsity pitching coach for 6 years, and then for 2 years prior to that, I coached for our middle school team. I actually played for Coach Burnett at Gilbert High School, and then played my college ball at USC Aiken. And so I'm excited about this summer. I spent the past several summers, I guess, coaching our young kids, our 14U and 16U team, and just trying to prepare them for, high school ball or just, teaching our brand of baseball, how we want them to play. And so now I'm ready to take on a new challenge with these 17s and try to get those guys ready to play at the next level. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to a good summer.
That's awesome, yeah. And you're inheriting a great roster, great core group of guys that this guy down here coached last year when he was coaching our 21 South team. Cory, how are you, buddy? How things going in South Carolina?
Yeah, doing well. Like Jason said, starting to heat up. We just moved into a new house a couple weeks ago, so got settled in. Baseball's back, so starting to crank up and get busy again. So.
Heck yeah, man! And I saw your on your social media accounts, I saw your first effort at your lawn. I'm sure that's going to get better, but that looked really daggone good, buddy.
Yeah, it's a process. I'll catch Coach Hucks eventually on that and pass him, but that's for another day.
Absolutely. It's a funny thing of watching all these coaches' social media during this time. You have a lot of the college guys and the pro scouts are doing all this cooking stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All the high school guys are working on their lawn. And Coach Cochcroft and I were just talking. He built a deck and rebuilt a deck and all this stuff. I mean, heck, you guys are just itching for baseball.
I know. Yeah. I'm gonna hire him to do a deck for me eventually. So
I had to watch a lot of YouTube. To make that.
Well, Jason, I guess we'll have to come back to you in a couple of years, see if the thing's still standing.
We talked about it. It looks good, and then when I sat on it for the first night, I was extremely nervous. It held up. I passed the first test there, so we're good.
That's good, man. That's awesome. So, Cory, obviously we know a lot about you. Tell everybody a little bit about where you are, in the world, where you coach, and how long you've been with the Canes.
Okay, well, I joined the Canes. This is year 4, I believe. Before that, prior to that, I coached a lot of high school ball. I started right out of college at Southside High School. I was a head coach there. And then after 3 years, I went over to J.L. Mann with Brian Simpson, who's actually the head coach of the 21 South team. Was with him for 6 or 7 years. Got to coach out. That was a lot of Canes guys that were coming through then, Jack Stanmore, Blake Brady, a handful of guys. We had a talented group. And then after that, I got into working with diamond prospects here in the upstate. And, since I've done the Canes, I did 3 years with the 2 years of 17 South. And then last summer, me and myself and Coach Hucks did the 16U South or 2021 group. And now we're here. So
yeah. Man, excited, man. Hey, I don't know if I'm sure you did, but saw the episode with Coach Hucks talking about your roster, man. You guys are loaded for bear, and I'm excited for that. But, the one thing I've always said about our Canes team is that, National American are great, super talented. That's awesome. But where we provide the most value, in my opinion, is in our regional teams. We have a lot of guys that, go to college every year. I think 150 plus for the last 3 or 4 years or something like that. That can't just be our national and American rosters. That has to be, our regional guys, and getting great regional guys. You've run our South program for a while, and I love our reputation down there in North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm a Virginia guy, and I love our North teams. I think we do a great job there, and that's where I started out. What are your thoughts on the overall quality of our South program this year and the overall quality of players we got?
For this coming year, since I've been on board, this is the deepest we've been. The past three years since I've been on board, it's over 25 kids easily, definitely more. I mean, myself and Coach Hucks with the South roster, for the first 2 to 3 years, I mean, we've had every kid but maybe one, just an outlier that didn't play at a high level. And then even with our showcase groups, I was talking to our showcase coach the other day, and he was talking about last summer. I mean, he communicated with over 60 coaches, and several of those guys are going to play at the next level as well. But for this year, as a whole, obviously we're excited about the 17 group, which Jason has. But even from top to bottom with the event that we had last weekend, kind of a kickoff weekend, from 15 to 17, man, it was loaded. A lot of good players out there, and I'm really excited about getting this summer started.
That's awesome. Yeah, and just so everybody knows, people are tuning in, we had basically a training weekend with our guys. We did that for a couple reasons. One, some of these kids have been playing a lot of Fortnite. We wanted to get them out. First and foremost, we wanted to evaluate where we were as players, but also get reps and things like that. And it allowed, your coaching staffs to be able to get eyes on these guys and get a little bit of a better feel for them, because, again, we did miss the spring. So we need to know where we are so we can put the kids in the best spot to be successful. Did you have some guys, Jason, that you were able to get eyes on for your 21s? You know a lot of those guys, as we were talking off camera. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've got with those 21s? And then, Cory, what I'll do is I'll ask you kind of to follow up with that, because you might know these guys a little bit more since they played for you last year. But it looks like you got, 4 commits? So, go ahead and fire away on what those 21s look like, if you would, Jason.
Well, quite a few of them I've seen, and we've played in our high school season. And to be quite honest with you, it's going to be a relief to have them in our dugout instead of competing against them. I think we're going to be very athletic, just in general. Reed Garris is going to be one of our top arms, I believe. He's from Wando, and he's been up to 92 miles an hour, but he can also catch. He can play outfield, so I think that speaks to his athleticism. He's just a solid baseball player. Of course, we got a handful of Lexington guys that have played for Coach Hucks. Cal Herndon, Ryan Toll, and then Landon McMahon. All of them are very good athletes. They have high baseball IQs. Of course, they're well coached. Chase Loggins is the same way. He's from Bishop England High School. Coach Darnell there does a great job. So he's a very athletic player. Can run. We've seen him in the playoffs the past few years. So that's just a couple examples of guys that I've seen that I know that are very athletic, that are very baseball smart, and are very well coached. So
yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, having those guys in our dugout as opposed to trying to figure out a way to beat them, that's going to be fun for us.
Yeah, and that's the neat part of this coming together in the summer is you obviously, as you were saying, getting them into your dugout. And some of these names I've been hearing about forever. Like they've been dudes for a long time. It's crazy. You think some of these guys, just from seeing highlights and stuff like that, you think they'd be, be gone by now. But some of these guys, like Chase Loggins, and I remember hearing of him forever. Reed Garris. I mean, those dudes. It seems like they've been around. Landon Beverly, all those guys. Seems like they've been
Landon.
forever.
Right, Landon's another one. We saw him in the playoffs as a sophomore. He came to Gilbert late in the playoffs. I think we were in the maybe the game before the lower state championship, and he came and threw really well. That dude, I think Coach Welch here calls him the dealer. Tough blue collar player, and again, he's from Ainer High School. All those guys that have come out of there are the same way. Coach Sarvis does an awesome job there. Just a tough dude. I think he beat the number one left-handed pitcher in the country last summer. So, again, another example of a kid that's just super tough, super athletic, big kid. I don't know if I would fight him.
Yeah, just be sure when you go out to take the ball from him, he's in a good mood.
Yes, yeah. Listen, man, we're gonna bring you out only if that's okay with you.
If that's all right with you. You okay with that?
That's right.
I actually had that situation with him last year, so
I can believe it. Tough.
Yeah.
Cory, so Cory, you had a lot of these guys last year. What can you add about that 21 team?
Oh man, I mean, it's a special group of kids. What's unique about them is like how well they mold together. And we caught that right out of the gate last summer, and even this past weekend, the guys that came in. I mean, it was crazy. We haven't seen each other in a couple months. That really haven't been together in probably 9 months. And it was like we were started back. We had a tournament the week before, but Coach Cochcroft, he's not going to mention his own guys. But last weekend, like Ashby.
I was going to get there.
Okay. But Ashby Vining last weekend at Anderson when we were having our showcase, I mean, he was launching balls out. He played with us years ago. Always been a great defender, but like the bat
starting
really
to come around. Yep,
it really is.
And he's gotten himself in really good shape over the quarantine. I think he's dropped a little bit of weight. He looks really good. I was watching him swing, with the tweets that were put out, and he looks really good. He's a natural leader. He's vocal. He's kind of like a quarterback on the field for us. And then also Joey Parker is the other Gilbert kid that we have, and he's our best arm and one of the hardest workers I've been around. 6'2", good body, workaholic. He'll do anything you ask him to, and I think he continues to get better. Every time we get together, he's improved, and I think that's just a testament to his character and how hard he works. So I'm really excited about having those two kids. So,
Yeah, that's cool. It's nice when you're able to coach your own kids during the summer. I mean, and
Yes.
kids that are quality kids, kids that want to go on and play and have the ability to do it. And, I've heard great things about both of those guys. So, that's awesome that you'll be able to have your hands on them during the summer a little bit, especially since we lost the spring. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I think
just a bummer.
Yeah.
They'll represent our program well and then themselves well. They always do. They're great kids, so I'm excited for them.
Good. And you mentioned social media. That's one of the things that I know all of us coaches are trying to step up so that our guys get more looks, because again, losing visibility has been tough. And, with these 21s coming into a different scenario, going forward, we need to be creative. So it's good. I know Cory, you guys do a great job with that. Jason, that's one of the things I'll kind of challenge you with, is try to get out as much as you can,
Right.
about your guys, and see see if you can generate some really genuine attention, not anything inflated, obviously, but you got guy like Vining just dropping tanks, might want to get that on video a little bit more. So somebody who's sitting at home will say, I can see that in my program. That's
Yeah, well, with his improvement, I think that we're going to have some more opportunities to get that on video and put it out. I hope.
That's good.
But I think that the 2021s, I hurt for a lot of them, because I feel like with this whole pandemic, they've suffered from it in terms of losing a whole year of exposure. So I'm glad that these guys are going to have an opportunity to still get in front of some of these coaches with some of the things we're doing with social media and live streaming games and things like that. So I'm glad that they have that opportunity despite everything that's happened here in the spring.
Yeah, I know we live streamed our practice and scrimmage at the 14s, and we had 50, 60 people, 75 people, I think, at the highest watching. So
That's awesome.
And I don't think it was the parents, because they were standing way out in the parking lot doing this, trying to watch. So,
Right.
Cory, tell me a little bit more about your 21s there, Cory. What else do you know? What else you see on that lineup?
Yeah, we got a couple other ones kind of in the infield, kind of going around. Clay Albertson, he's an infield outfield guy, CFC commit, left-handed hitter. I mean, versatile player. He's been with us for a while now.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Steady, Tyler Lipscomb, little middle infielder. I mean, hit him when he's playing second base, ground ball his way, just write down 4-3 on your chart, Jason. You'll be good to go there. Bennett Freeman from Easley, catcher outfielder, just because of his athleticism, big time bat. And then Bryce Roddy. I mean, he's been with us since maybe when he was 14 or 15, left-handed hitter. I mean, nobody plays the game as hard as he does. And he's starting to gain some foot speed and things like that. And then Connor Bradley, he's our lone North Carolina kid from Haynesville. Like, he'll run through a wall for you, and like I've literally seen him do that. So, yeah, you'll love him as well. So, I mean, that's kind of your infield, outfield. There's a lot of guys on this team. There's just a lot of versatility. They can play a number of different positions, and you know, we preach that to that guys in the South. You know, you have to, like, you may think you're a shortstop, but you know, at the next level, you may, whatever gets you on the field.
Absolutely.
And just that versatility is huge. So
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Albertson and Roddy. Dude, I've been hearing their names forever. I swear, I thought they were on my roster for my high school because I hear them so much. I mean, those guys are dudes, and Lipscomb, those guys have all been with us forever, man. This roster's insane. So I know, Cory, you're a pitching guy. So what are we looking at arms wise? I mean, there's some dudes there that are jumping out to me.
yeah, kind of ones that Jason haven't touched on yet. Thomas Buford, an uncommitted left-handed pitcher from Abbeville. He's a starting quarterback too. I was kind of, me and Jason have been in communication a good bit. Like, he's a mid-80s, like a high spin rate guy. I guess a lot of swing and misses on his fastball. Then we have Sevi Mack, from Spring Valley, Columbia area, lightning quick arm. And then Zach McAllister, he's a strike thrower. He was up to 86 yesterday. And then Blaine Yates, another Palmetto kid. He's a high school teammate with Albertson. He's a strike thrower as well, can command 3 pitches. And, you know, as he gets older, I mean, he's really gonna improve. So, I mean, the thing about this staff is they're gonna fill it up. They're gonna challenge us all, challenge hitters and things like that. So it's gonna be fun.
So Jason, it doesn't sound like you're gonna lose any games. So
No, I'm nervous. I feel like when we lose, it's going to be on me. You know,
hey man, and that's how we all feel, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, you look up and down your lineup, you're like, gosh, how do we lose that game? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't
I
screw
got to
this
look
up.
at me, right?
Yeah, just stay out of the way sometimes. That's the best thing to do. Just to stay out of the way and let the kids play. You
That's
know?
right. Well, I mean, you can see. I think you mentioned it. We got a couple quarterbacks, I believe, for their high schools. We got 2 catchers that play outfield. You know, which is to me, it's like we got multiple catchers that can play outfield, they can play infield, and they can catch. So, like I said, I think we're just athletic. I think we have
Absolutely.
a lot of good athletes.
Absolutely.
Excited about that.
I'm excited for those guys, you know, to be able to play for you guys. So, you know, they've got, you guys have the enviable or unenviable task, whichever way you look at it, right now the lineup. But the great part with that flexibility is that you got some guys that, you know, will be able to stay in the lineup, especially if they're hot and stuff like that. So, you know, I like Cory's philosophy a lot of the flexibility, because I've seen, same thing, seen a lot of guys that were, shortstop with us, and they go to college, and next thing you know, they're in left field as a freshman and moving into the infield as they, as maybe that junior All-American that was in front of them, moves out and gets drafted or whatever. So, man, you're loaded. So you won't lose any games. We're good there. All right. So good. We can just put down a 40-win season.
Yep, pretty much.
You know, and one thing you'll find, and I like it a lot, and I tell our hitters this, is that, you know, you get to face everybody's top arm, because as soon as they see the Canes in their pool, you know, they start throwing they circle it. You know, you'll find it when you get to Worldwood Bat, is that the only game people have listed, their starter listed, is the game that they play the Canes. And that's awesome. That's, you know, that's what you want for your hitters. That's what you want for your team, to be able to face the best out there. So, you know, I have no doubt that they are, no doubts at all that they are in great hands with you and Coach Simpson. You guys are awesome dudes. And
Thank you. I appreciate that.
you guys are gonna lead us to the promised land there. Expect a deep run at Worldwood Bat and everything else, right, Cory?
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. That's how he runs the South coaches, man. If better make sure you're keeping up.
I don't know. Yeah. Don't tell him everything, Rob. Man, we gotta keep him. He hasn't coached a game yet.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I could probably use some of the exercise. I guess if there's a positive to take away from that, at least I'll be. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Cory, let's get into the 22s a little bit, because they're a pretty talented group too. I'm excited with some of the names I see there, and you know, you've gotten to see a little bit of them through the workout, through some Diamond Prospect stuff. You know, tell us about some of the guys on that 22 South team.
Yeah, and just like whenever we were talking about the athleticism of the 21 team, 22s are very similar. I mean, because I did 16U last year, I'm able to kind of have a really good gauge. Last year, our group, we were very physical. I mean, this group from an athletic standpoint is head over heels better than what we were. I mean, kind of some guys that we have there. I'll start behind the dish. It's kind of that same thing. They can do a lot of different things. Connor Simpson, Alex Nevels. I mean, two guys that can catch and also play infield. Around the infield, we have a lot of them. That's okay. They're going to slide around in a lot of different places. Gavin Troyer, his older brother, plays on our 17U American team right now. And then his uncle is Kanan Cropper, who threw on our national team. Yeah, who actually was up to 93 the other day in a bullpen. It was unbelievable. Hasn't pitched and threw two.
Hasn't thrown at all, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I'm way behind him.
I kind of want to come out of retirement just to see what I would be on the Rap Summit.
Hey man, let's go. We can work that out. I'll live stream it.
I just want to know what my terrible spin rate is, and I'm not really worried about the velocity. But all those numbers have me wanting to just give it a shot. You know?
Spin efficiency.
Yeah,
well, I did it, and you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Fastball.
All right, so you got a couple infielders there. What else you got? Tell me about these guys, man.
Yeah, Will Jackson, the Carolina Forest kid. William Holmes, who's got really advanced actions for a kid his age, and we've been toying with him on the mound a little bit. Let's see, Noah Hollis, kid out of Georgia, infielder, right-handed pitcher, can do a bunch of different things. Another kid that he's kind of from Jason's area, Matthew Davison from Richmond Northeast. Early on, I thought he was going to be an arm, and I mean he still is, but I mean he's been blistering some balls even as of yesterday. So
Nice.
You know, from an infield standpoint, there's a lot of different options there. They can move around. A couple of our outfielders, and he can also play first base. A Lexington kid, Nathan Hall, one of Hux's guys, was in the lineup this year for him at the varsity level. Deacon Cox from Spartanburg High School, real big runner. I mean, he gets after it. And then Caleb McCants from Blythewood, another good program in the Columbia area. So, I mean, position-wise, I mean, we're really versatile in that group. So I'm excited about that. And a couple of those guys throw as well. So.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It looked like there are like 5 or 6 guys that are, you know, really kind of two-way guys.
Yeah.
I mean, at least on the roster. You know, that's exciting because, again, that's going to give a lot of flexibility in there. What do you got? I mean, you got a bunch of strike throwers. You got power arms. You got a mix of both. What you got on the rubber there?
Yeah, we kind of have a mix of both. Brandon Eldridge from Conway, he's a mid-80s guy. Calder up to 87. He also catches as well. Reed's brother. One of my favorites is Davis Wright from Blythewood. Kind of a low 80s, but man, he can pitch. I mean, and he has no conscience when he gets on the mound. He's not afraid of anybody.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Dylan Howard, he's up to 87. Kenson Green, he's a left-handed pitcher, like low 80s, but a really good breaking ball. Can do a lot of different things. And then Colin Elmore as well. He's from Hillcrest, right up the road. I've been kind of getting on him a little bit, but he's got a lightning quick arm, and we're working on throwing with some intent. So when that happens, he's going to be okay. So.
Well, the neat thing too is look up and down the roster. I mean, these guys that have the quick arms and driving baseballs. Doesn't look like they've filled out yet.
No.
Doesn't look like they are. The big oversized 16-year-old that's going to overpower the smaller field and shrink when it gets to the to these big fields. It sounds like like Colin Elmore, for example, he's 5'10", 145, maybe 150 now. But it'll be interesting to see how hard. Yeah, right. It'll be interesting to see how he fills out and grows a little bit and starts really putting a little bit behind that really quick arm. Throwing a little bit of meat on the bones and seeing what happens next.
Yeah, and Jared Payne's the head coach of that group. He's been with us for 2 or 3 years now. He's a head coach at Westside High School right down the road too. So he's chomping at the bit, just like Jason. Jason, you gotta keep an eye on these because these are your guys moving forward. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool thing too.
Well, we'll have to win some this summer first before I get a chance at the younger guys, I guess. It sounds like.
I think you're safe, man. I think you're safe.
Corey, I got him scared for you. This is
no, man. We only get
fine, buddy.
Yeah, we only get winners, man. That's the thing. Kind of joking about this is when we made this transition. I mean, the first thing, like when I was talking to Dan, was Brian. I mean, he's kind of my mentor, and then with Jason, I mean, he was the first guy I called, and luckily he said yes. So
yeah.
But yeah, you're good.
Jason, you ain't going anywhere, buddy. You just keep your eyes on, watch. You go win games and then have fun with your guys, but keep an eye on the younger guys because really it's true. Those are the guys you're going to inherit next year. And I always did it when I coached the regional team. I always kind of knew it was coming up because when Dan and I are in your case, Corey, we're talking about rosters and stuff like that. I knew which guys I wanted to pull up to my team. So just a little insider tip there.
Oh yeah, Corey knows everybody. If I need to know something
that
about
he does, doesn't he?
State, I can call him. He knows.
He does. And so here we're really going to start testing his knowledge because now we got the 23 group. What do you got on these 23s, Corey?
Gotcha. Yeah. Right here again. Luckily, we were able during the spring. I usually see all of them, but just getting a snapshot. But going into last weekend, I knew what we had, but just as a piece together, and I mean, this group's going to put up some runs. Mike Andrews is going to coach this team. Like last weekend was the first time that he had gotten a lay eyes on him, and he walked over to me, like joking. He's like, "Man," he's like, "This is a little bit of pressure." I said, "Yeah, don't mess this up." And so behind the dish is going to be where we're really strong at with this group. With Garrett Fulmer, this will be his first year with us from Spartanburg. I mean, he's really advanced back there. Hunter Jagodzinski, a catcher, outfielder, left-handed hitter, can do a lot of different things. He's a great wrestler too. I don't know. I can't remember if he won the state championship or was maybe his high school won it, but I know he was a big part of that. And then Brandon McWhorter, who caught at Carolina Forest at the varsity level as a freshman. All three of these guys were varsity, where they contributed on their varsity teams early on. So that's promising to have. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're good sized kids. Look like they're pretty talented. I remember seeing some of Hunter's swings on social media, and man, those look pretty daggone good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then around the infield, Kevin Mims, he's a 2022, but with what we had of so many infielders, I mean, he was willing to make the opportunity, and I mean, last weekend was my first glance at him. Very impressed with him. Jackson McCoy. I don't know if you remember Luke Montanari from a couple of years ago. That's who I comp him to. I mean, he can do everything on the field, and like he's going to be stone faced when he does it, like no emotions at all.
Right.
And then Maddox Webb. He's from Somerville. He actually just moved to South Carolina from Ohio, I believe. Played a little bit on varsity this year. Very athletic. Was up to 82, 83. So really excited about him. Jonathan Looper from Orangeburg Prep. He's I think he's going to be more of an arm, but I mean a physical kid that's going to run into some balls. Braden Keller, I've already gotten on Caden Grice to kind of like make sure that kid's ready to go. And Zachary West, another infielder from Dutch Fork. That's a good program. I mean, they seem to just continue to churn out middle infielders.
Just churning out kids, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a couple of like AJ and Samari. I didn't get to lay eyes on last weekend. I believe they went up to Raleigh, but
right.
And then in the outfield, TJ Aiken. He's a real deal. He's their second year with us. Left-handed hitter, very physical kid, getting some serious looks. Andrew Danton. He's the younger brother of RJ Danton, who pitches at South Carolina. Good bat. So, I mean, then, all those guys pitch. Rhett Gunnels, he's a sinker slider guy. And then Gavin Driggers, who works with your buddy Mike. Got to give Mike Williams a shout out here. He's a big part of this, too.
We got two of the best pitching guys, around. They're both stuck in the same three. That's right. Yeah.
Hey, come on now.
but you're all in the same state.
Yeah.
That's the impressive part of it.
Yeah. But Gavin Driggers, man, I mean, he's a 6'3", 6'4", been up to 86, so he's gonna really, he's gonna turn some heads moving forward.
Yeah, very interesting. So that's the neat part of this is that as Coach Andrews and Payne, as you guys as they get these guys that are either blowing up the radar gun or hitting tanks or whatever, that's what our follow-up shows are going to be about, because I want to be able to educate everybody. I want them to hear Gavin Driggers' name, from now until, 2023, and have everybody go, good Lord, I've been hearing about this kid for 3 years now. Oh my gosh. And it's
like
awesome
Cole Messina, man. I think he's like 25 now.
Right. You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
And the neat thing too is we got a lot, being affiliated with being one of the coaches on our 14 nationals, we've got a lot of those young guys are from South Carolina, like a PJ Morlando and stuff like that. So, our South program puts out a ton of talent, and, you do a great job of identifying it, not only from the players, but also the coaches, and bringing in Jason and Jared and those guys. I mean, to have the talent is one thing from a player standpoint, but to bring in the coaches to be able to help develop it, because we're a little different as an organization in that, as you see, Cory, when we go to the, pregame BP, a lot of these teams have their kids throwing BP to each other. We don't do that. We're coaching all the way through. We're talking to kids about, what their approach should be. And if you're not having a good pregame BP, that's all right. Here's what you need to focus on in the game. Just focus on these, this one or two things. Same thing with our bullpens, pregame bullpen not going well. You're there coaching and helping the kids get through it. So I think, again, a lot of what we do is a little bit different, at least we try to be, because, these are 14, 15, 16-year-old, 17-year-old kids, and they need that development. They need that work. They need that oversight. And that's why it's so awesome that you're not just focusing on bringing in great players, you're bringing in great coaches like Jason so that we can help continue to develop those guys.
Yep, absolutely. And the good news about Jason, and I know he's aware of this, he will not have to throw BP at all this summer. He's got one of the best BP throwers around.
Coach Simpson?
Yeah, Coach Simpson. I mean, it is a machine. When I worked with him, from doing pictures, we would take BP for hours, and people were like, we put up runs. People were like,
right.
How do y'all hit? I was like, well, we literally hit all day.
All the time.
Well, maybe he'll let me mix in a day or two. Like I said, I need to try to get my arm ready for that Rapsodo and see what.
I don't know, man. He takes it personal.
Okay.
Well, Jason, we don't want you breaking bats either, buddy.
Yeah,
these
right.
Kids, we don't want you getting upset. See, here's what happens with you pitcher guys when you throw BP. You throw a couple in there. So I coached with Eric Milton. Pitched in the bigs for 12, 15 years, something like that. Threw a no-hitter. And, he'd want to throw BP every now and then. It was fine. He'd get a couple, and the kids would, kind of mouth a little bit. Oh, yeah, come on, bring it. next thing you know, he's breaking bats, cutting them in on their hands. And next thing I know, I'm looking out there. I look out into the cage, and he's got a pile of lumber sitting on the side going, all right, let's go. You want to hit off me? Let's go.
Rob,
See, that's what happens with you pitcher guys.
I can promise you that will not happen. I didn't throw hard enough to break bats at 20. I'm not going to do it at 30. So soft and away. And then there's
that does
really
it,
good
buddy.
hitters. I'm just going to throw something out of the zone and hope they chase it. I don't have an outfit.
That's all it takes with wood, buddy, as you know.
Oh, man.
So, Cory, man, we've got some other teams out there. I know because of the quality that we have in South Carolina, we have a South Showcase at 21,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have some Palmetto teams. You're able to get some eyes on those guys. So tell me a little bit about the South Showcase team and what we can expect out of those guys, because, it seems like we've got a pretty good group there as well.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where, it really is a testament to the depth that we have at these groups. I mean, like one, for example, right off the rip is BJ Willard. He's a right-handed pitcher out of Myrtle Beach. I mean, he's been up to 91. Just a big physical kid. Caden Taylor, mid-80s righty, super athletic. Excited about him starting on the mound here, obviously. Marshall Whitmer, kind of a two-way guy, but, I really like – he throws with a lot of intent, 83, 84, lefty. Colin Grooms, big pitchability guy. I mean, I'm excited about him moving forward, kind of behind the dish. Cade Bird is a kid who down at the beach has really kind of blown up here lately. He had a great start to the year, but I mean, just with our depth that behind the dish of that class, him and Rogue Wallace, Zach Faulkner, he's a catcher, right-handed pitcher from Lawrence. He actually, the last high school game I covered, he threw, I think, a complete game.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and then we banned everything. That's for a different day, though. And then around the infield, just a bunch of athletic kids. And some of these played with me last fall. Ben Tumblin, Jackson Brewer, Eric Simpson, Brian's kid. I mean, he's really came on as of late, infielder, outfielder, and then Ian Costa as well. So, I mean, and then Brandon Gibbs as well. He's a burner. I mean, he's a legit 6'8", 6'7" guy that can do a lot of different things. So, I mean, even with this group, I mean, I'm excited. And in the outfield, you got Andrew Dent, who can he's a sub-7 guy. Chris Mann, he's another year in our program. Carson Ellerwine's been with us for several years. I mean, has produced. And then Jack Salami. I mean, and that's really that's what he tries to do. That's what he tries to do. So we always –
He better. If he doesn't, I'm going to have to go find him and challenge him to that, because he should be swinging for salamis the entire daggone time. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a really good group. Coach John Bolton at JL Man, he's the assistant at JL Man. He's back with us another year. He's going to be coaching that team. And, I mean, he's another one that put over the side the other day that was really good. And then Stephen West as well. He pitched for me a little bit on the South last year. He wants to do some two-way, but he's got a big breaking ball, and he loves to compete. So, with that 21 class, I mean, we're excited about what they're going to bring to the table. So.
Yeah, and it's as we've touched on before, it's going to be a little different for them, with regards to the recruiting. But, if you want to play, no excuses, find a way to make it work. I've told, parents on our team, make sure you're videotaping as much as possible. Don't tag college coaches. Send it to us. Let us get it out for you. We want to be able to help promote your kids. And quite honestly, we have those followings. I know just about every major college coach in the country is following you, Cory. So when you put something out, has a little bit more teeth behind it. When somebody like Jason puts out a video about a guy, they know it's legit, and they know that, the kid can play. So, get that video as much as you can. We gotta be creative this year in how we promote, the kids. But the wonderful part about it, and I think one little piece that gets lost on everybody, is the fact that, we've earned that credibility over the years. When a college coach calls us, we've helped him get guys before and get good information on guys before, because, ultimately any travel coach tells you, I can get you recruited. That's not our job. Our job is A, help them get better, and B, provide great information that's reliable. So, coaches have these great networks of friends and people around the country that they can get information from that they trust. Believe me when I say that college coaches aren't just sitting on their couch just hoping somebody, falls in their lap. They're being very active in reaching out and trying to understand the talent that's out there to see if it's a good fit for the program. So if you're a 21 grad listening to this, don't give up, keep pushing, and just go out and play your rear end off, and you're gonna land somewhere.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out. We have a couple of 21 kids even on the central team this year as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, we wanted to help them out. Braden Buffington, mid-80s righty, and then Jarian Pinckney from Andrews down the lower part of the state. JP, that's one of my boys, man. You're not getting a fastball by that kid. So, and then Brighton Ward as well. So, there's a couple of kids in that area too. So,
sure,
that's the neat thing about it is you wherever the need is, it's going to put the kid in the best position. Like that's what we do as an organization too. So that's kind of that's the cool thing about it.
Well, there's one that's pretty close to me. I'm not going to mention his name, but same thing last year. He wanted to get more exposure to teams in the South, so he came and played for you. So I think the cool part about our organization is we have that ability to do that. So I think and going and playing with super talented kids. It's not like you go to play for you've been playing with the South, you go play with the North or vice versa, and it's a big drop off or a big fall off on talent. It's not. The depth of our organization, I think, is deeper than it's ever been. I think the quality, and heck, we're getting ready to talk about the Palmetto team, and those teams are the 22 and 23. Those teams are solid, man. How do you keep doing this?
You have good people around you. That's the first thing you got to do. That's the first thing. Yep. And then a couple of these, Coach Cochcroft can touch on. I see a couple of Bishop England names on here. Elliott Sanders, I remember he had a couple of base knocks against you guys early on in the season. Not many though. I'll go ahead and y'all won the game, so I'm gonna go ahead. But that was where I saw him was there, and then Doom Dennis, good little player, that contributed there yesterday. So. At that top, Tristan Tillman, his older brother played with us. TJ just finished up. The kid I'm really excited about is Brady Wharton. He's a physically advanced middle infielder, can do a lot of different things. Tyler Evans, another low country kid, big physical kid. Dawson Williams, saw him early on, super athletic. Weston Willman, he goes to IMG but lives here in the upstate, so he's going to be with us this summer. Lane Johnson, another kid that's been with us for a couple of years, one of the North Carolina kids in Western North Carolina. Blake Falal. Another one I'm really excited about are these three. I keep looking at four. Yep. Arian Patel from Hanahan, really good arm, plus defender. Thomas Purcell. He was with us last year as well on our South team and really produced. And then we added Blake Wall. He's a real grinder. And then Paul Pridgeon, who had a couple of home runs on the varsity level this year he's got some pop, and then Taylor Hall as well. So another group of Jason where I kind of challenge you this summer to be sure to check out and kind of see what's coming down the pipe for you. So
yeah, it looks like the Pridgeon kid, 6'2", 225. He's a big dude already.
Yeah. He wants to do one thing when he gets in the box, and that's okay. So
yeah,
it's not bunt.
No, we're not gonna bunt.
It's not bunt. It's not walk. I don't think.
Yeah, money's worth.
That's right.
Is he related to Salami at all?
No.
Yeah, Salami better not be squaring at all either. You can't.
No.
And they're not going to Gilbert then.
And I think I think that might be my favorite name that all we have is Doom Dennis.
Yeah, Doom Dennis is a good
awesome
name.
Yeah,
we said that
great baseball name.
Yeah, when we saw him, we played them the first game of the season this year, and we've seen them in the playoffs the past several years, and so when we're looking over notes and things like that. That name, or I was like, what a solid name.
That is just a plus name. That is great.
Yep.
You win as a parent right out of the gate when you name
That's
your kid.
exactly right.
So,
You just sit back. You just sit back and watch it all happen, man. We're good.
I was thinking about that. I can't remember the kid's last name now, but in the draft, kid named Blaze
Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
I was thinking about how when you name your kid Blaze, like the pressure from the jump, he can't be slow.
Correct.
We've got to start speed training immediately.
Well, I had a kid a couple years back, Blaze Alexander. He was a middle infielder. Yeah, Blaze Alexander. He was a South Carolina commit,
right.
Drafted by the D-backs, and he was not slow. His parents named him appropriately because that kid could move a little bit, and he absolutely raked. When we went down to Worldwood Bat, he hit over 500. Everything was, I mean, you could just shut your eyes when he got up to bat because you knew it was going to be a loud sound.
Yeah, it's good that my parents didn't name me Blaze. It wouldn't have made any sense.
We got Blaze up there throwing 80 poo.
Yeah. Yep. And running a 5.5 second.
Oh my goodness! I'm sure it was better than that. I'm sure it was like 5.25.
I don't remember.
Corey,
I don't remember.
I don't recall. I see. You can say it's a 4-3, and nobody even remember. So you're good.
4-3.
Corey, what about Corey? What about your 23 Palmetto team, man? Looks like you got some dudes there. I see a last name that I recognize pretty well.
Yeah, it's a good mix. Kind of what we did with this. I mean, as you can tell too, there are some 24s on that team as well, and like the big emphasis here is going to be on development and just getting that work. But I mean, luckily we've got some talent there as well. Michael Kaser from Somerville is coaching that group, and I mean that kid. I mean, high energy, loves to get after it. So I mean, he was a perfect fit for this group of kids, and that they're relatively local to him. We just got a couple of upstate kids. The rest of them are in his area, so that's going to be big for those kids kind of moving forward. But yeah, we'll jump right into the name that you're referring to, and that's Carson Messina, I'm sure, Cole's brother. 24, I'm really excited about him. Yesterday he was up to 82, 83. So,
wow.
He got in the box yesterday, and I was like, man, I said, you throw harder than Cole, but you don't hit it as far. I said, but make sure you tell him I saw him in that same event at that age, and Cole was 81. So Carson's got that over him. But a few other kids I'm excited about too with that group is Mason Salisbury, another 24, really good defender behind the dish. Dylan Willis, got a chance to watch him last weekend and earlier this week as well. Mid to high 70s lefty that really knows what he's doing with his stuff. And then Nicholas Capello, a utility player. He can do a lot of different things. He played a little bit on the varsity this year at Hanahan. So, and Josh Smith, there's some kids that at the end of the day, at this age, you just have to get stronger and continue to develop. And the talent's there, and we're going to have to, work with them to just continue to improve. So
absolutely. One of the things I always tell the younger kids is, around this age, you're going to have guys that are bigger, stronger, or whatever. But for the most part, the skills are about the same. There's some that are obviously more skilled, more talented, but what's going to separate you going forward is how hard you work from here on out. If you're the bigger guy, seen plenty, and we've all seen those bigger guys that were, overpowering the field as 8th graders and freshmen, or 8th graders moving into their freshman year, but they stop working. And then you see the smaller kids end up passing them as they move up the ranks. So if you're one of those guys on these, 23, 24 teams, work your tail off, find your coach, as often as possible. It's beautiful that most of the guys are right around where Coach Kaser is, because now they can, get some extra work in. They can really work on that development because, they are the future of our South program, really. Yeah. Those are the guys that they don't realize it, and they don't really have the perspective yet, but those are the guys that we're going to be looking at to fill our national teams, our American teams, and our top level South teams. Those are the guys, man. And if you're on one of those rosters, man, just trust that we've got great coaches around you and work your tail off.
Yeah, that's one thing, Rob, that, I mean, I know we've touched on it a couple of times, but I mean, that's a big emphasis that we have on is just surrounding these kids with good people. Also, I mean, with coaching, everybody can do that, but every guy on our staff, I mean, I feel comfortable with how they're going to be able to lead those kids and things like that. So we're excited about it. It's going to be. And then one other thing, I mean, I know it's always a running joke with the Canes guy, but you haven't even mentioned anything about Jason's hair, man. I mean, that's kind of a rarity for a Canes guy.
That's a plus hair dude.
You should have seen it a week ago. It was a disaster. I figured that I heard we were going to do this. So I was like, man, I need to probably clean myself up a little bit.
Oh man, no. So I almost went the route of Cory because I've got this overhead light that's shining right here that's killing me. Just killing me. See, Cory was smart about it. Cory's big league with this. He's got the hat on and
he's putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had I don't care if people hear this. My wife messed it up the other week, so I had to go Rob style. So
I love that you put it out on social media.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was upset about it. That's when he put it out. I was like, man, that hit must have really struck me. I'm letting the world know right now.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, that's so good. Well, you know what? I'm amazed and really impressed because the amount of talent, not only on the field that you're putting together, but what you're putting together in the dugout, Cory. I mean, top notch. That's why you're the director of our South organization. We really love seeing those rosters, and you know what? I'm excited to find one or two of those teams, as they always do, make a deep run in one of the big tournaments. You know, with bats, something like that, because you know what? People don't listen to this, and one of these teams are going to sneak up and bite somebody, and then they're going to say, "Oh wow, I guess these guys are pretty good."
Yeah.
We already know they're good. You know, we see that year in, year out. So, you know, kudos to you for putting together these rosters, man. I know it takes a lot of time and effort and, you know, beating the bushes to find these guys. And it made it even harder this year with not having the spring season.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just talks to your preparation. I mean, you had notes on these guys. You recognize everybody within that South program, you know, all the way from the 21s all the way down to the 23s and 24s. I mean, it takes a lot of effort, and I just want to commend you on that because it's very impressive on how you put this together, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, and again, like I just keep going back. I mean, like with Jason, we talked for about an hour yesterday, maybe about just going down the road. Had a lot of late night calls with Mike Williams as well. You know, just checking in on these guys
I'm sorry.
And everybody. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's. Again, one of those things I probably shouldn't let everybody know, but no.
Dude, I get the late night text. I think my text last night from him is like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was still up, but yeah, he's our pitching coach on our 14 national team, and I love Mike. So
yeah,
listen, this don't get the wrong impression.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot for us as well. I mean, he's a big part of this. So yeah.
Well, you have eyeballs all over the state. You have great people around you, man. No reason there's every reason why we're successful, and no surprise to anyone why our South squads are so good. You know, bringing in guys like Jason, you know, super excited to have you this year, man. I'm really looking forward to that undefeated season. So, no, man, just, you know what, we joke about that. We want to teach our kids to win, but the biggest thing is make them better, you know, and you're the guy to do that, you know. So you and Coach Simpson, I know we'll crush it with those guys. But I really appreciate you guys joining us and filling everybody in. You know, please don't be shy about sending the updates. You know, Jason, I'll be sending you an email probably once a week, trying to get information about your kids. So if you're seeing something that's going on, let us know, and let's get more eyeballs to it, man, because it's all about getting our kids better and getting them seen so that the decision makers can, you know, figure out if they want them in their program or not, man. But
for sure,
you guys are two freaking studs. I'm excited. You guys have pumped me up for today, man.
We're ready for these guys. You start back next weekend, right up here. So, I mean, I'm ready for them to get back on the field, and I know the kids are excited, and the coaches are as well. So,
good. Well, I'll check in with you in a couple weeks, and let's see what we got. But Jason, really appreciate you being here. Cory, as always, buddy, it's great to have you. You guys are phenomenal representatives of the Canes program and crush it with the South team. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. See you, Rob.
All right, buddy. See you.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us today. Big shout out to Coach Welch and Coach Cochcroft for joining us. You can give Cory a follow on social media at Coach Cory Welch. And you can follow Jason at jcochcroft14. Need to ask a favor of you. We need your help in growing this show. You can do that in many ways. First and foremost, give us a like. Smash that like button. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast host, give us a like. 2, drop a comment. Let us know what you like or you don't like about the show. Or Cory or Jason. 3, help us grow the community by subscribing. This lets others know that this show is legit. 4, show us some love with a review. Or 5, simply share the episode. Baseball's cranking back up. People need to know who's on our South program. So send this episode to friends and enemies who are just getting back into baseball right now. You can give us a follow on social media at CaneCast Show, or you can reach out to me directly on social media channels at Rob Younce, or email me at robyounce@gmail.com. I welcome your feedback as we look to improve this show every single episode. So stay safe, wash your hands, and travel safely to those tournaments that are firing back up. And you know what? While you're there, cheer everybody on as hard as you cheer on your own son.